Inject it. Welcome to Agents of Screen. I am your boy Mars, aka the Bald Beyonce, and welcome to my spoiler-free review for The Many Saints of Newark, a Soprano story. I'm gonna tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, my score out of 10, and if you should check this film when it comes out in cinemas the 22nd of September. But listen, I've been excited for this movie. In my very humble opinion, to me, Sopranos is a top 5 show ever across TV, anywhere, ever. But if you haven't seen Sopranos, I suggest you watch it. It is goated, certified. And if it's not in your top 5, tell me what is, and where does Sopranos place? Is it a top 10 show for you? Top 20? Is it nowhere near? But since we're on the subject, I know you didn't ask, but my favorite show ever, I know I said Sopranos was top 5, but my favorite #1 undisputed show ever is The Wire. Also, like Sopranos, an HBO show, goated, super goated. But why we're here though, directed by Alan Taylor, written by David Chase, who wrote The Sopranos. What is this film about?
Set in 1960s and 70s Newark, New Jersey, using the 1967 riots in the city as a backdrop for tension between the Italian Americans and African American communities. The film follows the teenage years of Tony Soprano in the midst of a violent gang war that his uncle and family are involved in. Directed by Alan Taylor and starring Alessandro Nivola, Leslie Odom Jr., John Bernthal, Vera Farmiga, Ray Liotta, and Michael Gandolfini, star in The Many Saints of Newark.
So the biggest thing that I liked about this film, you know, Tony Soprano is an iconic character, the great James Gandolfini. Who are you gonna find to play a younger version of this? Be a moth of a character. They cast his real life son, Michael Gandolfini. Rest in peace, James Gandolfini. I can't even imagine how much of a daunting task that would be, not only for an actor, but a new actor. He was sensational in the role. He really captured the complexity of the character, the vulnerable side, the sensitive side, and essentially showing that Tony Soprano just wants to be loved. He captured all of that into one. He had real subtlety and depth, and for me, the best parts of this film is when he was on screen and Vera Farmiga, who plays Tony Soprano's mother in this film, a younger version. And Tony Soprano's mother is a despicable and deplorable character with no redeemable qualities. And she just picks up the baton and conveys that perfectly. Whenever she's on screen, she exhausts you in a good way, because that's what the character is. And there's a lot of fan service for fans of The Sopranos. You'll get like the in-jokes, you'll see characters that you haven't seen, younger versions, certain events will make sense. You'd be like, oh my god, that's why he's like this, oh yes. So the payoff is real for Soprano fans. And while it's wholeheartedly for the fans, it gives fresh take and fresh stories to kind of add to the Sopranos universe. But to me, this film feels like a highlight reel of a Sopranos sequel series that was condensed into 2 hours. They had a series that was 10 hours long, and then they put a gun to the director's head and said, listen, if you want to go home to your family, condense this series into 2 hours, fam. Condense it. So transitioning into my things that I didn't like, I feel this would have been much better served as a series, 8 to 10 episodes, because they give you a lot of story threads without fully committing to or fleshing out any of them. So in a series, you would have been able to have the same amount of story threads, but have a bigger payoff for all of them. And it also leaves a slightly bitter taste in my mouth, pause, that I feel like I've been sold a dream, because all the marketing and the trailer seemingly suggests that this is Tony's story, and it's not Tony's story at all. In fact, they only really start getting into Tony, pause, in the 3rd act of the film. And I know it's a Soprano story within the universe, but let's keep it real here. We came for Tony, fam. We really did. You see, I'm doing the Italian mannerisms as well. Man's wearing the Italian See, I'm spitting bars without even saying anything. I'm giving you the references as well. Like, we're on the same frequency here. We're on the same. I'm operating on a different frequency and you're here with me. I appreciate that. So like I said in my pros, the best parts of the film for me were where Tony and his mother were on screen. So I would have loved more screen time for them. And one or two of the younger versions of the original characters, to me, come across kind of gimmicky and like a caricature. So it was almost like a parody to me. So that was something I didn't really like, but also adds credence to how well Michael Gandolfini done as younger Tony, because it doesn't come across as a gimmick or a caricature at all. You know how I'm gonna describe this film? This is like the fans have been fiending for Sopranos. Inject Sopranos contact into my hand, wrap the belt or rubber, don't ask me why I know that, and then inject it. This movie, they injected it into their veins. You got a high from it, but the high didn't last that long, and I wanted a stronger dose though. Even though it was a nice little, you know, I needed something a bit stronger, fam. Don't cut it, give me the pure, the raw. And how this film ended included everything that I said before. It requires a sequel. It requires a season 2. There was real potential, and there's so much more to dig into that I feel that wasn't. So for that reason, I would give The Many Saints of Newark, A Soprano Story, a 6 out of 10. However, despite my score, it's not a horrible score by any stretch of the imagination. However, despite my score, I still believe that it is a must watch for Soprano fans. So if you're a Soprano fans, go out to the cinema and watch this movie. And there's definitely things that I got goosebumps from, just to be able to see, hear and experience again. If you've seen it already, tell me what you think, if you agree or disagree. Of course, this is just my opinion. At the end of the day, I'm just a bald boy on the internet. If you haven't, are you planning to see it? Let me know in the comments below. But as always, I have been your boy Miles. If you liked my review, please like, share and subscribe. I'd love to see you again. And until the next video, which will be coming extremely soon, peace.